The Silent Watchers. The stars had never seemed so peaceful. Commander Zora Voss stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel Eternal Dawn, watching the gentle dance of distant suns through the massive viewport. Her forearms moved gracefully as she adjusted the controls, her blue-scaled skin shimmering under the soft bridge lighting. As a member of the Ketheri species, she had spent most of her life exploring the furthest reaches of known space, but today felt different. The Galactic Confederation had enjoyed 2 centuries of unprecedented peace. Trade flowed freely between star systems, conflicts were resolved through diplomacy, and exploration had replaced conquest as the primary drive of civilized species. War was something that existed only in history books and ancient tales told by the elderly. Most beings in the galaxy had never seen a weapon fired in anger or witnessed the devastation that their ancestors had endured. Dr. Finn Okafor, the ship's chief scientist and one of the few humans in the Confederation, approached Commander Voss with a puzzled expression on his dark face. His species was rare now, numbering only in the thousands scattered across various worlds. Most people considered humans to be either extinct or so few that they might as well be. The stories of Earth, humanity's supposed homeworld, were treated as myths by many younger generations. "Commander, we're approaching the Sol system," Dr. Okafor reported, his voice carrying a hint of excitement mixed with nervousness. "The readings we detected from long-range sensors are getting stronger. There's definitely something unusual happening near the 3rd planet." Zara's large, dark eyes focused on the data tablet he handed her. The information was indeed strange. Energy signatures unlike anything in their databases were emanating from what the old star charts called Earth. According to historical records, this planet had gone silent over 20,000 years ago during an event known as the Great Silence. No signals, no ships, no communication had come from Earth since then. Most scholars believe that humanity had either destroyed itself or abandoned their homeworld for unknown reasons. "Have you informed the rest of the crew?" Zara asked, her melodic voice carrying authority despite her relatively young age for a Ketheri. "Yes, Commander. Engineer Crix is particularly excited. You know how the Mantoids love ancient technology puzzles," Dr. Okafor replied with a slight smile. Engineer Crix, a towering insectoid creature with 6 arms and compound eyes, had indeed been fascinated by the mystery. His species, the Mantoids, were known throughout the galaxy for their technological expertise and their ability to understand machines that other species found incomprehensible. If anyone could make sense of whatever they found at Earth, it would be Crix. The ship's communication officer, Lieutenant Yara, a graceful Aquarian with translucent skin and flowing tentacle-like appendages, turned from her station. "Commander, I'm not detecting any response to our standard greeting protocols. The planet appears to be completely dead from a communication standpoint." As the Eternal Dawn approached the Sol system, the crew gathered on the bridge to witness what might be their greatest discovery. The system looked exactly as the ancient charts described it: a yellow star with several planets, including the blue-green world that had supposedly been humanity's home. But something was wrong. The planet seemed darker than it should be, as if it were shrouded in some kind of energy field that absorbed light. "Commander," Crix's mechanical voice buzzed with excitement, "the energy readings are off the charts. Whatever is generating this field is using technology that shouldn't exist. It's more advanced than anything the Confederation has ever developed." Suddenly, space itself seemed to ripple near Earth's moon. The stars flickered and bent, as if reality was being twisted by some invisible force. Dr. Okafor gripped his console tightly as the ship's sensors went wild, detecting energy levels that should have been impossible. "All stop," Zara commanded, her voice steady despite the growing tension on the bridge. "Something's happening." The ripples in space grew larger and more violent. Then, slowly, majestically, something began to emerge from what appeared to be a fold in reality itself. It was a ship, but unlike any vessel the crew had ever seen. Massive, angular, and covered in armor plating that seemed to absorb and reflect light in impossible ways. The craft dwarfed their exploration vessel. Strange symbols glowed along its hull, pulsing with energy that made the very air on the bridge feel electric. "By the Ancient Ones," whispered Lieutenant Yara, her tentacles recoiling in shock. "What is that thing?" The ship was clearly ancient, but it radiated power and sophistication that made even the Confederation's most advanced vessels look primitive by comparison. Scars across its hull told stories of battles fought in the darkness of space, and weapon ports along its sides suggested that this was no exploration vessel. This was a warship, built for conflict on a scale that the peaceful galaxy had forgotten was possible. Dr. Okafor's hands shook as he ran scans on the mysterious vessel. "Commander, the ship is definitely of human origin. The design matches some theoretical reconstructions we've made based on ancient fragments found on colony worlds. But this is intact. This is a fully operational human warship from before the Great Silence." Before anyone could respond, their communication systems crackled to life. A voice, speaking in clear galactic standard, filled the bridge. It was unmistakably human, but there was something in its tone that spoke of experiences beyond anything the current galaxy had known. "Unknown vessel, this is Captain Marcus Kane of the Earth Defense Force ship Sentinel. You are entering protected space. State your intentions." The crew exchanged glances of amazement. Not only were humans still alive, but they had apparently been here all along, hidden somehow from the rest of the galaxy. Commander Voss stepped forward, activating the ship's main communications array. "Captain Kane, this is Commander Zora Voss of the Galactic Confederation vessel Eternal Dawn. We are an exploration ship investigating energy readings from this system. We thought humanity was extinct." There was a long pause before Captain Kane responded. When he spoke again, his voice carried a weight of sadness and determination that sent chills through the alien crew. "Extinct? No, Commander Voss. We've been here the entire time. We've been watching. We've been protecting. We've been fighting a war that the rest of the galaxy never knew existed." The Sentinel moved closer to the Eternal Dawn, its massive bulk blocking out the stars behind it. Up close, the crew could see that the human ship wasn't just scared from battle. It was actively being repaired by what appeared to be automated systems. Pieces of hull plating moved and shifted as the ship healed itself, technology that was beyond anything the Confederation possessed. "Permission to come aboard, Commander Voss," Captain Kane's voice continued. "There are things you need to know. Things about why Earth went silent. Things about what we've been protecting you from." Zora looked at her diverse crew, seeing the mix of fear, excitement, and curiosity in their faces. Dr. Okafor nodded encouragingly, his scientific mind clearly desperate to learn more about these mysterious humans who had somehow survived in secret for 20 millennia. Engineer Crix's compound eyes glowed with fascination at the advanced technology before them. "Permission granted, Captain Kane," Zora finally replied. "Our docking bay is open." As the crew prepared to meet their first living humans in over 20,000 years, none of them could have imagined the truth that Captain Kane was about to reveal. They thought they lived in a galaxy at peace, protected by diplomacy and the goodwill of civilized species. They had no idea that their peaceful existence had been purchased with the blood and sacrifice of human guardians who had chosen to fight in the shadows rather than let darkness consume the stars. The Sentinel's shuttle bay opened, and a small craft emerged, heading toward the Eternal Dawn. Inside that shuttle was a man who carried the weight of 20,000 years of hidden war on his shoulders, ready to reveal secrets that would change everything the galaxy thought it knew about peace, protection, and the price of safety. As the shuttle docked with their ship, Commander Voss whispered a prayer to the Ancient Ones, sensing that their universe was about to become a much larger and more dangerous place than any of them had ever imagined. The Hidden War. Captain Marcus Kane stepped through the airlock of the Eternal Dawn with the bearing of a man who had seen too much and carried too many secrets. He was tall for a human, with graying hair and eyes that seemed to hold depths of experience that no being in the current galaxy could match. His uniform was unlike anything in the Confederation databases, dark blue with silver trim and symbols that seemed to shift and change when viewed directly. Commander Voss and her crew waited in the docking bay, uncertain of what protocol to follow when meeting a species that was supposed to be extinct. The human moved with quiet confidence, his gaze taking in every detail of their ship's construction and crew composition. When he spoke, his voice carried the authority of someone accustomed to making decisions that affected entire star systems. "Commander Voss, thank you for allowing me aboard. I know this must be overwhelming for you and your crew." His eyes moved across the assembled aliens, noting Dr. Okafor with particular interest. "Dr. Okafor, I presume. Your research papers on ancient human settlements have been quite insightful." Dr. Okafor's jaw dropped. You've been monitoring our research, but how? We've had no contact with Earth for 20,000 years. Captain Kane's expression grew somber. "We've been monitoring everything, Doctor. Every scientific discovery, every technological advancement, every threat that has emerged in the galaxy. We've had to. It's been our responsibility to watch over you all, even if you didn't know we existed." Engineer Crix stepped forward, his mechanical voice buzzing with curiosity. "Captain Kane, your ship's technology appears to be far beyond our current capabilities. How is this possible if your people have been isolated for so long?" "Isolated?" Kane almost smiled, but there was no humor in it. "We haven't been isolated, Engineer Crix. We've been engaged in the most important war in galactic history. A war that you and your people have been blissfully unaware of because we've been fighting it in dimensions you can't see, against enemies you can't imagine." He gestured toward the massive viewport showing the space around Earth. "Commander, may I suggest we move to your briefing room? What I'm about to tell you will change everything you thought you knew about your peaceful galaxy." Minutes later, the crew gathered around the holographic display table in the ship's main briefing room. Captain Kane activated a device from his belt, and suddenly the air filled with three-dimensional images that made their most advanced technology look primitive. The display showed the galaxy, but not as they knew it. This version revealed layers of reality, dimensions folded upon dimensions, and moving through these hidden spaces were creatures that defied description. 20,000 years ago, Kane began, his voice steady but heavy with the weight of history. Humanity discovered something that no other species in the galaxy was advanced enough to detect. We found that our reality, the space you know and travel through, is only one layer of existence. There are other dimensions, darker places where things exist that have no place in our universe. The holographic display zoomed in on Earth, showing how the planet existed simultaneously in multiple dimensional layers. We called them the Void Hunters. Beings from the deepest, coldest parts of space that exists between realities. They consumed life, light, hope itself. They had been slowly infiltrating our dimension for millennia, preparing for a full invasion that would have consumed every living thing in the galaxy. Lieutenant Yara's tentacles writhed with anxiety. "But why didn't you warn the other species? Why did Earth go silent?" Kane's expression darkened. "Because we realized that fighting them conventionally would have doomed everyone. The Void Hunters feed on conflict, grow stronger from violence and fear. The only way to stop them was to fight them in their own dimension, using technology and tactics that required us to change, to become something more than what we were." He touched another control, and the display showed human ships moving through impossible geometries, existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously. "We developed the ability to phase between realities, to exist in the spaces between normal space and the void. But doing so required us to sever our connection to the normal galaxy. We had to make everyone believe we were gone, so the Void Hunters would focus on us instead of you." Dr. Okafor leaned forward, his scientific mind racing. "You've been fighting this war for 20,000 years. Just humans alone." "Not just any humans," Kane replied. "We evolved, adapted, became something new. The crews of our ships exist partially outside normal time and space. We age slowly, think differently, see things that normal minds cannot comprehend. We became guardians of a galaxy that forgot we existed. Engineer Crix's compound eyes glowed brighter. The energy readings we detected. Your ship exists in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Exactly. The Sentinel and ships like her are weapons designed to fight enemies that don't fully exist in your reality. We've been holding them back, keeping them contained in the dark spaces between stars. Until now. The display suddenly shifted, showing massive shapes moving through the dimensional boundaries. These creatures were wrong in every way that mattered. They absorbed light instead of reflecting it. Their forms hurt to look at directly, and their very presence seemed to drain the warmth from the room. 3 days ago, our deep monitoring stations detected something that changed everything. The Void Hunters have found a way to break through our containment. They're preparing for a full invasion of normal space, and this time we can't stop them alone. Commander Voss felt a chill run down her spine. What do you mean? Kane turned to face each member of the crew directly. I mean that your peaceful galaxy is about to face an enemy that has been building its strength for 20 millennia. An enemy that feeds on life itself and turns entire star systems into empty, cold voids. And for the first time in 20,000 years, humanity needs help. The holographic display showed Void Hunter forces massing at the edges of known space, moving through dimensional rifts toward populated systems. The scale was overwhelming. Millions of creatures that defied description, supported by technology that seemed to bend reality itself. But there's hope, Kane continued. Your species have developed something in these 20,000 years of peace that we lost in our long war. You've learned to work together, to combine your strengths, to trust each other across species lines. That unity, that cooperation, it's exactly what we need to fight an enemy that thrives on division and despair. Dr. Okafor stood up, his face set with determination. What do you need us to do? Kane smiled for the first time since boarding their ship, and in that smile was the warmth of humanity that had endured through 20 millennia of sacrifice. We need you to do what you do best, Doctor. We need you to learn, to adapt, to bring together the greatest minds from every species in the Confederation. We need Engineer Crix to help us combine our dimensional technology with your manufacturing capabilities. We need Lieutenant Yara to coordinate communications across species barriers we've forgotten how to cross. He turned to Commander Voss. And we need leaders like you to help us remember how to work with others instead of fighting alone. Suddenly, alarms began blaring throughout the ship. Lieutenant Yara rushed to her communication station, her tentacles dancing across the controls. Commander, I'm receiving emergency broadcasts from the Outer Rim colonies. They're reporting impossible readings, ships appearing out of nowhere, entire systems going dark. Kane's expression became grim. It's beginning. The Void Hunters have started their invasion. He activated his communication device. Sentinel, this is Kane. Initiate Protocol 7. Contact all Guardian ships. The long watch is over. Through the viewport, they could see the massive human warship beginning to glow with energies that made space itself ripple around it. Other shapes began emerging from dimensional folds, more human ships, each one a masterpiece of impossible technology and desperate engineering. Commander Voss, Kane said, his voice now carrying the urgency of impending battle, I need you to contact the Galactic Confederation immediately. Tell them that humanity is offering alliance against a threat they've never imagined. Tell them that the myths and legends they dismissed were real, and that the guardians who protected them in secret are ready to fight in the light. As the crew scrambled to establish communication with Confederation headquarters, Captain Kane looked out at the stars and whispered words that carried the weight of 20,000 years of hidden sacrifice. We held the line in darkness. Now we fight together in the light. The greatest battle in galactic history was about to begin, and for the first time in 20 millennia, humanity would not fight alone.